Dzisiaj chcę Wam przedstawić wspaniałe wideo, które przetłumaczyłem. Jeżeli oglądacie mój kanał, to na pewno widzieliście kiedyś utwory muzyczne nagrane przez naszego kochanego kompozytora, pianistę Staszka Muszczynskiego z Sarasoty, z Florydy. Staszek ostatnio do mnie zadzwonił i powiedział, że dostał się do takiego programu telewizyjnego, który jest bardzo popularny na Florydzie, Bold Brave TV, i że miał nagranie na żywo, właściwie był na żywo w tej telewizji i opowiadał o swoich kompozycjach, o swoich utworach. A te utwory są wspaniałe, jakich jeszcze nie słyszeliście, to proponuję wejść na mój kanał albo gdziekolwiek. Muzyka Staszka Muszczynskiego jest do zdobycia praktycznie wszędzie, na Amazon, na Spotify, no ale macie też to wszystko na moim kanale. Ja dorobiłem do jego muzyki wideo. Po prostu poskładałem tak szybciutko kompozycję i no, Staszkowi się podobało, więc odpaliliśmy te jego utwory muzyczne i są na moim kanale, na jego kanałach, ale Staszek miał bardzo fajne, takie delikatne spotkanie w tym programie z kobietą, która się nazywa dr Janet Smith Warfield. Jest to bardzo znana kobieta, no taka naprawdę dużo się przeszła, dużo się nauczyła w życiu. Mieszka na Florydzie, właśnie w Sarasocie, koło Staszka. Jest uznawana za taką kobietę, która osiągnęła bardzo dużo w dziedzinie edukacji świadomości. Zdobyła tam dużo nagród, no jest bardzo znana w tych amerykańskich kręgach właśnie ludzi, którzy zajmują się jak gdyby takim uświadamianiem, motywacją, też treningiem świadomości. Ona tam uczestniczyła w wielu różnych no, niesamowitych takich przedsięwzięciach. Tam chodziła po ogniu, brała udział w szałasach potu, czy też w ayahuasce. No, kobieta nie wygląda na taką naprawdę bardzo, bardzo zaangażowaną w, powiedzmy, w siłowe rzeczy, czy też w jakieś cielesne rzeczy, ale udowadnia przez to, co robi, że nasz umysł potrafi przezwyciężyć no, nasze ciało fizyczne, czy też może kontrolować nasze ciało fizyczne. Ale w tym wideo Staszek rozmawia z nią o jego muzyce i poprosił mnie, żebym to wideo przetłumaczył, więc je przetłumaczyłem. Uzyskaliśmy zgodę z tego Bold Brave TV, że możemy opublikować to na naszych kanałach, więc przetłumaczyłem, właśnie skończyłem tłumaczenie, nagrywam tą właśnie część na początku, żeby Was jakoś to wprowadzić. No i cóż mi pozostało więcej. Zapraszam Was do oglądania tego wideo. No i słuchajcie, podziwiajcie muzykę Staszka, bo ona jest wspaniała. Ona wchodzi w naszą duszę i tam się zatrzymuje, no i porusza przepiękne uczucia, porusza w nas taką głębię doświadczania czegoś, czego nie da się tak naprawdę objąć umysłem. To jest po prostu no, prawdziwa sztuka, która tak na nas oddziaływuje. Więc zapraszam Was do oglądania tego programu ze Staszkiem i z dr Janet Smith Warfield.
Learn how to use the power of your mind and the power of your words to create peace, power, and prosperity in your one precious life. Discover your unique purpose on our planet and how you can best serve. So now, let's learn how we can be peaceful, powerful, and prosperous.
Welcome to Planetary Peace, Power, and Prosperity. Today, I am your host, Dr. Janet Smith Warfield, and we are going to give you an amazing experience today, which I'll talk about and show you in just a minute. But we are live streaming on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, I believe iHeartRadio, Amazon Fire, a whole pile of things through Indie TV. So, welcome. Today, my guest is an absolutely amazing pianist, keyboardist, and composer. His name is Stan Muszczynski. He's been the Grand Prix winner of several music competitions. He's performed in Poland, Germany, and the United States. In fact, I think he was born in Poland. He started playing the piano at the age of 5, as did I, but he's much more accomplished than I am. So, and from now on, all of his music will be tuned to a sound frequency of 432 hertz, which we'll be talking about a little bit more later on in the show. So, welcome, Stan. I'm so honored to have you and your music here.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, I can't wait to listen to this music again. So, this is an album called, and we're going to play these pretty much straight through with a little conversation in between, but just give the listener an opportunity to absorb this music and feel it and notice the difference in their body. If you allow it, listeners, you got to allow it. We'll have some more conversation about that later on. This is called The Album of Good Thoughts, which is a collection of compositions and arrangements by Stan. Let's just get started with the first one, which Stan entitled The Most Beautiful Gift. The most beautiful thing you can give someone is love. Stan, this is the third time I've watched that. It's amazing to me how I get something different every time I watch it, and my focus shifts. I'm primarily a visual learner. So the first time I watched these, I wasn't really even focused on the keyboarding, the piano. But after you and I spoke, I started narrowing my focus. I turned off the video, just listened to the audio, and just listened to your piano playing, really focused on that. And you'd made a comment about listening to the silence. And I noticed that. I was noticing the slight pauses in your music before you would play a note, or the softening of the touch. And it was a totally different experience. So all I can say is I'm going to be listening to these many more times. So thank you so very much for that. Anything you want to add real fast, or should we move on to the next one?
My thought about silence. In music, silence is the most important element contained between each note on the staff. It sets the rhythm of music. It builds emotion in it.
Yes, absolutely. So those of you who are watching this right now, just think about shifting your focus or noticing the slight pauses or the nuances, and pay attention to the actual keyboard playing. This next one is called Old Friend. And the old friend happens to be Frederick Chopin, who is now
Yes.
deceased. But Stan wrote to me, from an early age, I have been closely associated with the music of Frederick Chopin. So let's listen to this Old Friend. Stan, just briefly, tell us what 432 hertz music does for the mind, body, and spirit. And then, if we have a short summary, hitting the highlights, the difference between 432 hertz music and 440 hertz music?
Music tuned to 432 hertz is softer and brighter, and is said to provide greater clarity and is easier on the ears. Meditation music is tuned to 432 hertz, is relaxing for the body and mind, and also more harmonic and pleasant than 440 hertz, which is the frequency that most of the modern day music we listen to is tuned at. Music that is tuned to 432 hertz is more friendly for the ears and unites the listeners to universal harmony and generates positive effects on mind and body. In short, 432 hertz music would fill the mind with sense of peace and well-being.
Yes, which is what we are offering, choosing to offer on the Planetary Peace, Power, and Prosperity TV show. The peace is both inner peace and planetary peace, but you bring it to yourself first. So let's move on to the third offering from Stan, which is called High Flying Eagle. It talks or tells, doesn't talk. It offers music about the eagle and his experience, the eagle's experience during high flight. So let's watch. Beautiful. And I noticed I said watch, which shows my own bias in being a visual learner instead of an auditory learner. Next time I'm going to say, just listen. Even shut down the video, close your eyes, and just listen to Stan's keyboarding. It's an entirely different experience. And are we ready for a break? Yeah, okay, we've got a minute here. Stan, do you have anything you want to add to that? Because the listeners' focus shifts what they experience. And I know you've commented to me that maybe 1% of the people listening to this will really feel the 432 hertz tone. Any comments about any of that?
I would like to add something to it. Why have musicians resisted the 440 hertz music and accept the 432? Many musicians through recent centuries have expressed their strong preference for the A432 reference pitch. Did you know that Jimi Hendrix, along with John Lennon, Bob Marley, Andrea Bocelli, and Prince, all tuned their music to a specific frequency of 432 hertz. It is known as the beat of the earth. Has substantial healing benefits, and ancient Egyptian and Greek instruments were discovered tuned to 432 hertz.
Thank you. Boy, I didn't know that. I'm learning today, right? Actively on the show. This is Planetary Peace, Power, and Prosperity. I am your hostess today, Dr. Janet Smith Warfield, with our amazing musician, 432 hertz musician, Stan Muszczynski. We're live streaming on Spotify, Amazon Fire, YouTube, Facebook, a whole pile of other networks. So you can probably pick us up any place. Join us when we come back and experience more of Stan's amazing music. Welcome back to Planetary Peace, Power, which is really empowerment, personal empowerment, and prosperity, a sense of abundance and gratitude. I'm your hostess today, Dr. Janet Smith Warfield. My guest is Stan Muszczynski, just an amazing composer, pianist, and keyboardist. And you're listening live on a whole ton of networks through Indie Music TV and actually, I probably have the name wrong there, but Indie TV anyway. So welcome back, Stan. Let's move on to the next video, which is the answer to my letter. And this fascinates me because you have this connection with other musicians who are now deceased, because this is the story of a letter that Stan wrote in his mind to Sergei Rachmaninoff, and I know it as Peter. He's got Pyotr Tchaikovsky. So let's listen. Listen, and I did use that word listen today. So just listen to the keyboarding and even close your eyes so you don't see the video. You can go back and listen to the show again if you want to give yourself a little different experience and actually watch the video while you're listening to the music and all the background music as well. So let's roll it. Stan, I have goose pimples right now. Um, and I sat through that with my eyes closed. And I didn't read before you said the music was what you got in response when you wrote that letter in your mind to Sergei Rachmaninoff and Peter Tchaikovsky. So, but I'm really paying attention to those just little pauses before you hit a note. And it makes the note so much more impactful when you finally come down with it because I'm paying attention. I'm thinking, what's he going to do next? I want to know. Do you have anything else you want to add to this right now?
About the pauses. When I listen to the music, it is this silence that I'm looking for the most. The silence that allows for absolute concentration, which makes every sound important. Also, silence is a sound that has vibration, although we are not aware of it and cannot hear it. The entire universe produces sound, so does the whole cosmos.
Thank you. Let's move on to Dance of the Flame. And Stan says about this, and actually, this is a composer I haven't heard of, so if I mispronounce it, Stan, please correct me. Tomian also likes to dance as an uncontrolled dance caused by the need to relieve stress and clear the mind, which is again
Absolutely.
about that silence that would be, get rid of all the chaos going on in your life and in your mind and just come back to the pure clarity of the silence, really, which makes the sound more meaningful. So let's roll Dance of the Flame. And blowing that candle out at the end is actually the silence and the pure connection with something that our minds, our music can never conceptualize, because when we conceptualize it, we separate ourselves from it. Let's move on to the River of Good Thoughts. Now, these are the experiences that Stan is bringing to us. Thank you, Stan. With this piece of music: strength, hope, patience, forbearance, perseverance, friendship to self, self-esteem, joy, optimism, positive attitude, and freedom. So let's listen and experience this one. Thank you, Stan. Thank you so very much, Stan. Um, Again, I'm sitting here with my eyes closed. Um, and we are getting to the end of a segment here. But if briefly you could say something, I mean, there are a lot of elements in these compositions that you're offering us. There's your keyboarding. There is the background orchestra, which appears and then disappears again and sits in silence. And then, of course, there are the visuals. We don't have a lot of time, and so but maybe you can say a little bit about that now, and as we move on, you can comment a little more deeply about that.
About the videos to that album, one friend of mine helped me with composing all the videos to that album. His name is Andy Choiński from New Jersey, and he's a very talented person.
Okay, and actually we probably are going to have to continue this when we come back. This is Planetary Peace, Power, and Prosperity. I do trust you are experiencing some inner peace today. If every one of us were to experience that, it would be planetary. I'm your hostess today, Dr. Janet Smith Warfield. My guest is the amazing Stan Muszczynski, and we are live streaming through Spotify, Amazon Fire, YouTube, Facebook, a pile of other networks on the Bold brave TV platform. Welcome back to Planetary Peace, Power, and Prosperity. I'm your hostess today, Dr. Janet Smith Warfield, with my guest, Stan Muszczynski. You're listening live streaming on Amazon Fire, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, YouTube, Facebook, pile of other networks through Indie TV. So, welcome back, Stan. We are moving on, giving people the experience of this amazing music. And if you'd just like to, I know we kind of cut you off at the end of the last segment, but if you have any more comments about putting this together, you worked with a friend to do the video portion, but then also there's this orchestra that appears and disappears again in the background. So tell us just briefly about that if you can.
The orchestra has been made using DAW, digital audio workstations, which we have in our studio here. For instance, we would like to have 180 strings at the same time. It has been recorded in Germany. Taldex Studio and Apple Studio in London. Any sound I can imagine I can use in my compositions anytime. That's why it sounds so realistic. I did it, except composing, I did the piano part in Chicago, in the studio in Chicago, a while ago, by myself, playing on Yamaha grand piano, which sounds marvelously. And I did all the instrumentation, all the arrangements by myself.
Amazing. I mean, I'm just amazing, but I think we need to move on here to Forgotten Illusions. And Stan's comment on this is, sometimes it's fun in the streets of Paris, as Paris is a very interesting city. So let's roll it. That time I'm watching the video again, I had my eyes open. Totally different experience. Just totally different experience depending on whether I'm absorbing the entire production or whether I'm focused just on your keyboarding. So let's move on to Irish Soldier Coming Home. And this is the moment when a soldier returns home, is always touching, bursts of joy, tears of happiness, and relief that he came back safe and sound. And I have to say, this makes me think of my own son, whom I felt I was sending off to war and would never see again alive, and I never did. We covered that in our last show. So this is the Irish soldier actually physically coming home again to his mother, his family. My son did not do that. So let's watch, listen, focus where you want to focus, and allow the music to sink into your own soul. Thank you, Stan. And I'm going to just move on here because we're running short of time. And I want to make sure people have the opportunity to experience these last two videos as well. This one is called Learn from the Child. Children are genuine. No ambiguities, no pretenses, no half-truths. The child knows what he or she wants and is not ashamed to ask for it. Let's learn from them with the help of Stan Muszczynski. Yes, let's learn from the spontaneous, beautiful children.
Can
Stan.
I add something to that piece of music? Learn from the child. I would like to, with this music, this is my dedication to Irene Muszczynski, which is my wife. She's my wife, and she helped me with this album. Without her, the album will be sitting on the shelf today. Without her, she made it. And Irene, thank you very much.
Thank you for that. I have to just say, I love the spider web. Reminds me of an Indra's web. And I believe we're at the end of another segment. Please let me know if I'm incorrect on that. But this is planetary peace, power, and prosperity. If you want to bring peace, inner peace, a personal sense of empowerment and self-esteem, that was a word that Stan used, and a sense of abundance and gratitude for all you've been given, including your one precious life. Listen to Stan Muszczynski's music over and over and over and over again. So, all right, let's just play this final piece, which is Stan calls it a prologue because it announces a new stage in his music. And then I briefly would like to introduce our hostess for next week and what she's going to be doing. Next week, Constance DeAngelis will be our hostess. She is going to be offering us peace from her book, The 7 Laws of Inner Peace. And it's about the 5th law of giving. And this law of inner peace will show you how to access your genuine, authentic, and real gifts, talents, and powers. This season, the season of giving, can help you serve your joy and expand the consciousness of our entire planet. Stan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
It's been a joy. Thank you.
Thank you.